The consumers started using AI conversations as a reference point. There is like an authority telling them what to do and they follow it. Now with AI, you can even foresee what will happen before you publish anything. So it gives you more like a crystal ball. You want to educate the AI engine to learn about you, know about you. What AI cannot replace: human experience and the vision.
Vadi Efe is the founder of Busylike, an AI visibility and generative media agency. With years of experience in digital marketing and 2 exits behind him, Vadi has good news. Both big and small brands can win an AI search. They just need to know which strategy to follow. Vadi, thank you very much for coming onto the GEO Blueprint. It is a pleasure to have you, and I'm excited to talk to you about marketing, AI, and how AI is going to change marketing and where we're headed. So thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome.
It's a pleasure.
First and foremost, please tell us, what do you do and why does it matter?
Yes, so my name is Vadi. I'm the founder of Busylike, which is an AI marketing agency. So we are basically a brand activation company helping brands create their digital media strategies, including creative production, ad placements, and campaign execution. But we do all of this with an AI-first approach. So we start by analyzing the conversations, the consumer behavior in LLMs, basically in AI apps and platforms. And then we can connect all these like marketing insights to their media strategy, so owned media, paid media, and also create content which will help the brands to be cited, be recommended by AI engines, and also, of course, like search engines and, by the consumers.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants, right? AI visibility right now. Busylike combines, like you said, AI visibility, media strategy, and creative production. How are all 3 connected?
Yeah. So to answer this question, we need to first think as a marketer and think about the customer journey, because the tools are changing, but the customer intent is the most important thing. So right now, since a couple of years, especially after the launch of ChatGPT, the consumers have access to AI engines, and now the usage is going more and more, like every day. And the consumers started using AI conversations as a reference point. So they put their intent to tell their intent, what they really want to do, even their secrets, to the AI engines, and then just like make decision with that. So this is a breakthrough for brands, because the consumers were just searching and evaluating alternatives, but now there is like an authority telling them what to do, and they follow it. So this is like a opportunity for brands to follow what the AI engines are doing, telling the consumers in specific occasions. I'm sure a lot of like advertisers, a lot of marketing managers are checking like ChatGPT or Claude and searching their brand, like people searching themselves in Google, right? But there is a way to do it systematically. Now there are like tools to see in what scenarios the AI engines are telling you what about their brand and about the competitors. And so with a systematic approach, you follow this, get the marketing insights, and then you do your brand activation, media placements, ad buying, or creative production, and your whole business strategy according to that.
Yeah. So you mentioned something very interesting, which I want to go deeper on, is that you said that there are now tools that help brands to check their AI visibility. In your opinion, and from your experience, how accurate is this data? That can brands rely on it, or is it just all bunch of fugazi?
Yeah, it's an emerging space for sure. And now there are like several tools, especially analyzing prompts first, because this is the prompts consumers are entering into chatbots are the main interaction they are having with the AI engines. So most of the tools analyze multiple prompts. That's what we also do, like 100 or 200 or 500 prompts. And we see the answers the AI engines are giving. So we see where the brands are cited and how if they are in those responses or not. And I don't believe this is fugazi. This is like a very systematic approach. And the AI engines are also giving like more and more insight to these tools. And it's a great opportunity for brands because before, when you search on the search engines like Google, you had like a listing of answers. And now you can do so many different alternatives as you wish. How you want your brand to be perceived by maybe 100 different consumer personas, or you might have a lot of different products and you want to have different strategy for all the different products, or you want to test the market. So it gives you like limitless opportunity to test it with like potential consumers and how they react with the AI engines.
I think one of the most important questions is, how does AI visibility / GEO change the way brands should think about discovery compared to traditional SEO and paid media? What's your take on that?
So traditional SEO and paid media is all about content you already have published, and it's about intent of the consumer. Now with AI, you can even foresee what will happen before you publish anything, because you will see what the current, we can say, the intellectual ecosystem, the AI ecosystem, has already sourced, already crawled from different sources, and then act a strategy around it. So the game is a new game, but it's very important because we didn't have this like smart recommendation engine before, which can connect to anything in any language and any resource. And now we see a lot of like companies, brands also teaching AI what they do, because you need to give a consistent context. We didn't have this before. It was all about like keywords and what people search about those keywords, if there are a lot of traffic. But now we can just say, I'm going to do this because it's going to be like this. So it gives you more like a crystal ball.
Yeah. One important insight that I've learned through all of my conversations with various different guests that have been on this podcast is the importance of knowing exactly who is your ICP / persona and creating much more in-depth content rather than before. Like before, it was more, general articles and blog posts, and now it's like very specific. So it's like, hey, what is the best CRM for a small team under 20 people, in the fitness industry? Like it's the what's it called? The query, the length has become much longer because the average query before was like something like 4 words, and now it's an average like 23 words, right? Because you can ask anything and the AI will understand and give you the answer. So one central thread that I'm seeing that the guests are saying across all the podcasts is the importance of like much more in-depth questions, and like there's going to be much less volume for that keyword, but the people that do find your brand through that are going to be just basically ready to convert and buy. And that's kind of the central thread that I'm seeing here. Hey, do you want to know if your business is actually showing up when someone asks ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Google's AI a question in your industry? Most business owners have no idea. They assume they're visible, but they've never actually checked. SEMrush changes that. It shows you exactly which AI platforms are mentioning your brand, which prompts you're appearing in, and where your competitors are showing up instead of you. You get a clear AI visibility score, real data, and a way to track whether things are getting better or worse over time. SEMrush is the #1 rated SEO and GEO tool, trusted by over 35% of the Fortune 500. And now it's built for the AI search era too. Try it free for 14 days through the exclusive link in the description below. Thank you so much to SEMrush for supporting the show. And now back to the episode. Question to you: how can brands use AI generated insights to improve their messaging and positioning?
Yes, so these AI generated insights will give you information about how your brand is perceived, how your products are evaluated, seen by your potential customers. If if you are perceived as an expensive brand, or if you are luxury, or if you are not mentioned at all. So, and as a data-driven marketer, there are ways to also analyze all these alternatives, and we give the marketer how many percentage, like they are mentioned in specific categories and specific like conversations, and then they can make a decision where they want to invest to be mentioned more. So because they see, let's say you will make a brand launch, you will release a new brand. We used to analyze social media. We used to analyze search engines, get some insights from text, from like what we can find in Twitter or Facebook. But this was like a very fragmented, fractured process. We were finding like maybe last 10, 15 years, all these like different consumer like opinions, and then reporting to the brands. Now AI can do it on a much bigger scale and use like limitless resources, and then just um, give you the insights in a very like efficient way. That's the advantage.
You mentioned something there which I think is interesting to talk about is, what if you're not even mentioned? What if your brand is not even mentioned in AI at all? And some of the people watching this might be in a position where they ask a question from an AI about that, in their vertical, in their niche, and it cites their competitors, but it doesn't cite them. It doesn't mention them at all. If you had to sit down with this person and consult them, advise them, what should they do? How should they systematically approach that gap?
So we can call this reverse engineering.
Okay.
If you are a challenger in a space, in your industry, in your market, let's say you are a company which is like successful in Europe, you are extending to the US market, or you create a new product line, which you already own a product line, and you have resources, you launch a new product in a line you are not even mentioned. The opportunity is to analyze what all those brands are already cited for, which like which platforms, which industry outlets, or which authorities are mentioning them, and where the AI is getting these references. And then just you can be there, or you can even invest more than them. You can find, analyze resources and just compete with them and just beat them, because you will know what these like resources are, how they are mentioned, and also you can experiment, which like there's like blue ocean. You want to go somewhere where there is not much competition. You can also find a strategy to implement maybe with limited resources, and which category is like less owned and where you can compete. All these like insight.
Talking about limited resources, one question that we were talking earlier before this recording was, who wins in the AI search era? Big brands with big budgets or smaller specialists?
Yeah, so both have advantages and disadvantages. Right now, because the AI engines mostly cite from reputable magazines, like brands, like media outlets, or like news outlets, these are it's hard to be in those like outlets for a brand. So if you have a lot of resources, you can just invest in like branded content or deals where they will publish your brand in an article as an editorial. So you can be in high authority places with ad spending or PR spending, then beat the smaller players. But what smaller players can do and get advantage in the AI space, find the gaps where they can be really dominant. You don't have to be all around player.
For everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can find your niche, you can find your audience, and the thing is, you can be consistent. Now, also creating content with AI is easier, so you don't have to do like a big because like I had a social media agency before, and the thing was making like a big viral campaign, and so a lot of people can see you, right? Now you can create a lot of content. You can be a brand always on content because now easy with AI agents and like Gen AI tools, and own a niche, own a specific niche, be consistent in that, and then just beat the big player because they cannot be everywhere, everything, and you can be the one which is like owning that niche.
I want to challenge you there a little bit about what you said about the AI generated content, Gen AI content. Um, there are a lot of people in the space who think that just creating AI content, regurgitating what has already been said, won't necessarily work in the long term. It might give you, spike of impressions in the short term, but then in the long term, if the AI cannot extract new information that hasn't really been said before, that won't necessarily be a sustainable long-term strategy. So what's your take on like Gen AI content, and is that a viable strategy for brands to use if for content generation?
Yeah, no, I agree what you just mentioned. If you just don't have like a strategy to create added value with the content you are creating, and if you just do what everybody is doing and just like a prompt and then just content is generated, this is not what we mean. You need to be an expert in your field, and you need to be able to orchestrate the AI to create good content, to create utility for your consumer. It's just the tools are giving you an opportunity to do more faster. So you already need to have something which the AI doesn't know, and feed the AI with it, and create something unique. And with your always on content strategy, you have to maybe normally you put a certain resource, and then you were doing one blog post in a week, detailed. Now you can create a very detailed strategy to do maybe 10 in your authority, in your like expertise, and then have like more information outflow, and still be unique in your like field, but share more and create more.
Yeah, I think that's quite interesting because I think what AI essentially allows us to do is focus on the things that are important and that actually matter. For example, doing research, getting new insights into consumer behavior or whatever niche or vertical that you're operating in. Spend resources into the things that actually like matter, like getting new insights, but then leaving the dirty work,
Yeah.
to AI and just like you said, orchestrating it basically. I think that's quite interesting. You talk about model memory.
Mhm.
The idea that once AI internalizes your brand as an authority in a niche, it recommends you across millions of conversations. How do you build that? I'm sure people listening and watching this would love to know that.
Yeah. So this is also like GEO 101, because first you understand how the AI engines are citing you, right? So they wanna have a context about you. You wanna educate the AI engine to learn about you, know about you. Now, when we work with a brand, we want them to give the answers about their brands um, in their website, in their content offering, so the AI engines can easily understand it and do it in a consistent way. So pick what you are focused on, pick what you are offering, pick what you are selling, and then create a consistent content strategy and be cited by multiple places with high authority. So the AI can see that you are consistent in what you are offering and you are being cited by different resources which are authority in their field. This is the key. So it takes a little time, but then the AI will understand you are authority in that field, you are being cited, and then give you as a reference.
Something that I want to talk about is as LLM platforms begin introducing ad placements directly inside AI conversations, do you believe this model will be sustainable and deliver strong ROI from brands over time?
I think there is a big opportunity brewing. I think it's going to be sustainable. The question here is how will the AI platforms make it trustable for the consumers? I think the answer to this question is the term utility marketing. Utility marketing is giving something useful to the consumer so you can attach them with your brand. So AI platforms need to implement the ads in a way it will be useful for the consumer. So right now, the first experimental phase is placing the ads into the conversation flow. And if the consumer is searching for something, we know their intent, and the AI engine is giving them the answer, and like maybe 1, 2, 3 resources to solve their problem. So if the ad placements are helpful in this, and they even give deeper context, or they can be connecting with the brand who is doing the advertising, not just giving like a buy me, but why. So the answer, now you have the opportunity to give like now we are working on these LLM ads, and we want to give as much context about the brand as possible, so the AI platform can understand how they can answer the consumer's question. So if there is like a utility building, then it will be very like successful. And now, we just saw the news. Now ChatGPT is testing CPC model, for example. I think they also realized there's like, if there is value, the brands will pay for it. So, if there's action, if people are, clicking and doing something, then it will be also valuable for the consumer. So it will be like, now it's experimental, but it's going to be huge, I think.
That's actually a very interesting take. I haven't heard about this term utility marketing, and it got me thinking right now that because consumers provide so much more information to LLMs, these models can have much better, much more precise targeting on which inventory to basically serve to the consumer. Like we were talking before about this show, about furnishing an apartment, right? If you are providing a picture, if you are providing, this context, hey, I want it to be in this style and this, and the model, of course, has memory and history of your conversation. It knows your family, it knows your dog, it knows everything, your wife, and then it can be like, give you the answer. And then at the bottom, first, okay, let me put it this way. First, I was quite skeptical about ads and AI, right? I was like, okay, this feels intrusive. This feels like it's interrupting my kind of relationship with the model, relationship with but now I think it can actually be a net positive, a net benefits to everybody, especially if, OpenAI can figure out how to do it on a CPC model, because that will in turn incentivize OpenAI to improve their targeting and make it in a way that, makes it very interesting and valuable for the consumer to actually click the ad, because the match is going to be just so much more stronger, So I think it's going to be quite valuable. Reddit is one of the most cited sources in AI-generated answers. What is the right way to use Reddit advertising as an AI visibility strategy?
Yeah, so Reddit is on a roll recently. I think they are maybe 20 years old platform, but with the boom of AI conversations, Reddit has been one of the leading resources of like human conversation about like certain topics. So right now it's one of the leading like training models for AI engines, and their display ads are also booming, by the way. So like if you buy Reddit ads, mobile first ads is like a good cost to utility ratio. So we use it. But if you wanna be if you want to use Reddit as a resource to be cited by AI engines, then you need to create like genuine conversations with the consumer, answer their problems in Reddit. You can do it in a transparent way. There are like Q&A sessions orchestrated by Reddit, and you can even buy ad space to show your utility to the consumer. So be there when the consumers are buying your product or service to solve their problems. So and when they buy your product, they can have multiple problems, or they can just complement one thing. They solve a problem, but they have one thing more coming. So just be there in the conversation for them and be cited. That's what a valuable resource is for the brands.
In your opinion, what is the one thing that AI cannot replace in creative production?
Okay, what AI cannot replace is the human experience and the vision. Like the real life experiences you observe, which are not saved in a data room. Like human brain is like full of magic. You can always think something like something new. You can see something new. And right now, the AI doesn't see that. So it's just like the feeling, human emotion, what creates an emotion in you. The creativity is connected with emotions. So right now, AI can replicate what it sees or thinks is true, but it doesn't have the humane feeling. So it's like what it lacks.
I love that. So I think you've been involved quite a lot with media, video, YouTube, podcasting. And it seems right now that, well, it doesn't seem, YouTube is one of the most cited domains, especially with Gemini. And a lot of brands have realized that, and they are increasingly, talking to creators like myself to create content which mentions their brand and cites them. So what advice would you give to companies regarding YouTube contents?
So YouTube is one of the biggest search engines in the planet. And video content is a big driver for the consumer. It's ease of use and also the human touch in the content. And with AI, right now, you need to transcribe your content, give context about the video, and do optimization for the title of the video, description of the video, and it's connected with Google, connected with crawled by the AI platforms. It has high authority, YouTube content. So all this, like, if you already have a following and if you already create a video, it can go viral fast, So it's like all these like content marketing advantages connected with the context of the video can create advantage for the brand. So if you own a niche in YouTube, create consistent content, first you will be discovered, like you were mentioned in podcast. We distribute some branded content in podcast, and then we link those content to YouTube, where we already have authority, where we already have a following, and it gets much more views than the podcast platforms because of YouTube's big audience, and people are also interested in the video. It's the same with AI. AI takes YouTube as a space where they can feed itself. And so giving like consistent content in video form, plus giving the transcriptions, and optimizing the descriptions is a good value for being cited.
Yeah. I think from my perspective, I would say that don't invest into AI avatars or AI generated contents. I, for some reason, have a feeling that's not very sustainable. If you're going to be doing video content on YouTube, work with actual creators, because video is a powerful medium and creators are powerful because there's something which is called parasocial relationships, which people form basically with influencers, with creators, without ever meeting them. They feel like they know these people, they trust these people, right? And this is kind of what brands are tapping into, this like trust. So at times it can be hard to for brands to find creators to work with and to work with them and stuff. But I think that is going to become increasingly more important. Just tapping into that trust and making sure that your brand aligns very well with that creator's audience. There needs to be a good overlap. You've built and sold 2 companies. What is the most important thing you learned from your exits?
What I learned is when you build a business, you create utility, you create value for an ecosystem, and then you grow the business. And if it gets acquired, that means you build something, you build an engine which can be valuable for another ecosystem, probably bigger than you. And you can pay forward, you can give the utility to this like ecosystem. For example, we had this like social media company and with digital marketing services. And then the marketing group which bought us was an expert in retail ecosystem, so retail industry. And they bought us because they wanted to improve their skills, their game in the digital ecosystem. So we built a company together which is an expert in retail industry with strong digital and social offerings. So this is like a whole thing, Now also building this company, I think AI is here. It's going to be here for a long time. And we need to build an engine and we need to build value for brands, for the ecosystem, for people, and to be there for a long time. And if you want to sell your business, you see an opportunity, you see something bigger than you can be part of, or play a bigger game. And what can it be? I think this is the way of thinking. And I always think like, okay, what is the next step and what will it bring to me? What will it bring to the humanity or to the ecosystem? That's the learning.
Let's talk about humanity in the future. I think this is a pretty interesting question. So what's your take? Probably people like tuning out right now. They're like, I don't want to listen about humanity in the future, but I think it's still interesting to talk about that. So what do you think? How does AI change our life in the future? Like, what does it mean for humanity in the next, oh God, I don't know. Timescales are so hard to predict. Whatever, 10, 20, 50 years. What's your take?
So I'm a fresh father, so we have like a little baby, and I think about her future.
Mm-hmm.
And AI is getting so dominant right now, and there will be a lot of regulations for sure, and there will be a lot of utility for the people, but there are also a lot of concern. People think like, will it replace my job? What will I do? I think the opportunity here can be the orchestration of the tools AI is giving us. So we don't need to execute a lot of things we had to execute before. We don't have to operate and some of the things we had to operate before. And if we are a strategic thinker, if we are a value creator, AI gives us the tool to do our job faster and better, understand more languages. We don't even need to speak a language to understand something, or you know what I mean? Be a better decision maker or be a faster executor. So this is the opportunity. So I think that's the game we need to play, and how we can create more value for the humanity, how we can be a better orchestrator, and how we can use AI to make the world better place. That's the game. That's I think OpenAI was built around it at first. The motto was like being open source platform serving the humanity. Now it became more like a commercial game, but I think people are learning how to use it for human value, and there are a lot of like progress in healthcare, or there are a lot of progress in a lot of spaces. For example, you can build like like a legal draft of a document without getting a lawyer, but like the part where you had to maybe hire a lawyer and just talk on a draft, which will cost you a couple $1,000, you can do with AI systems, and then get the opinion of the lawyer after that. There are things like that. You can leverage AI for your own good, or you can um, use it as an expert. I know a lot of people who can do. Let's say we had a problem in our apartment, like a technical equipment got broken, and you just ask AI. Normally, maybe you had to call a technician to check it, just to check it. And then you can just ask a technician before implementing the solution. So there are a lot of utilities like that I think is good for humanity.
You mentioned you're a fresh father, that you have a newborn child. When you went to school and when you went to university, you had to write your own essays. You had to, think with your own head. When you think about your child growing up and going to school and learning things and going through university and whatever that's going to look like, how do you think AI is going to change the way that children are going to go through the education system?
hmm So myself, when I was growing up, I was kind of the geeky guy who was looking up everything online. So like 90s, late 90s. And that time, a lot of people were not very exposed with internet. But it was like there were a lot of things you could use to learn, like I could communicate with the world. It was like not that like popular that time. Now I think AI is in a similar situation. So for education, for the future, we can use AI tools to educate ourselves, to discover things, maybe we wouldn't even think of, or use it as a mentor, as a partner to brainstorm. I think the future of education will be more and more interactive. Like, for example, we used to search, like, I was a self-made developer when I was in high school. I could code websites. I was just learning from internet because, in high school, you don't get like a degree in software engineering, but I could do it. It will be like that. People will have professions they teach themselves when they were like 15, 13, 20, like young prodigies who can play really good chess, right? There will be people, it already started. There are a lot of like teenagers who build like AI businesses. So I think the education will be more and more interactive, 24 hours, and AI will be integrated into institutions, into schools. It's just like as technology progress, these organizations, they always update themselves, and now is like a big part of this change.
What you said earlier about people being worried that AI is going to replace their jobs. So what I like to say is that if you're worried that AI is going to replace your job, then you should try and replace yourself out of the job.
Yeah.
Like be proactive and figure out, can AI really replace my job? And like try to do it. Like try to replace yourself with AI. If you can do it, guess what? that's going to be extremely valuable for the company, and they'll pay you for that. If someone in my company comes to me and they're like, hey, by the way, you don't need so many editors. I just figured out this like Claude thing and you can like edit videos. I'm going to be like, of course. Like, how much do how much do you want me to pay you? So that's a pretty interesting take as well. What is the best piece of advice you would give to a founder trying to build a brand or trying to build an AI company right now?
Yeah. So I was watching the podcast of Y Combinator a couple of days ago. They published an episode about building a AI native company. And it was really nice curated content. I'll give you the example from that. Right now, building a business is about information flow. So whatever you do, you might be selling a sandwich. You are just making an information flow. Somebody's hungry, you are feeding them. They like cheese, or maybe they don't like, and then you are offering the solution to them. Building with AI is now all about building a system which can be orchestrated by artificial intelligence, exchanging information. So that's what we are also trying to build right now with our business. Building the solutions to our clients' problems, leveraging AI. So we are trying to implement the things we do on a repetitive basis with the AI agents. And if you are going to start something now, build something which can be orchestrated by agents, which can be orchestrated by AI, and providing value to somebody's problem. I think that's the key.
Agents. Let's talk about them. Have you tried using agents? If yes, do you have any interesting use cases for it? And how do you think agents are going to how do you think agents are going to change the way businesses are run?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we use agents to create our always-on content strategy, content marketing instruments. Also, we are replacing some repetitive tasks like reporting the marketing campaigns, or like, you need to get the information from different sources. Just put it in a PDF. Now you can do it like different just agents talking with each other. And even like our websites, blog engine, the this like reporting. Also, when we are producing something now, it's definitely there is AI involved in the production process. Although is Gen AI created content or not, we implement AI in prototyping, and the agents will create mock-ups. Without that, it's a really long process. So, and we mostly use the agents to make things faster and easier and valuable.
I know I asked you this earlier, but we were talking before this podcast about, is there going to be one winner AI, aka Google of search, or do you think that it's going to be scattered and there's going to be, niche AI models for different use cases?
Yeah, right now the first boom was ChatGPT, like a consumer app, and now Claude is building amazing tools for enterprises, also for solopreneurs, mid-sized companies, mid-markets, and Google has been implementing the Gemini into their tools, which was a big breakthrough. So there will be these big players, and there will be also smaller or mid-sized companies. They are implementing AI tools into their system. But there will be also AI native players which are just challenging this like statu quo or owning some niches. Now already there are like players in AI legal space, or like healthcare place, or some like I will have a meeting tomorrow with a small business retail AI native platform builder. Or on Friday, I have another meeting with a business intelligence company who are now building their tools to be AI native, and they are just focused on BI solutions in emerging markets. So I think last week, I also saw a conversation. I'm from Turkey, and some people from the ecosystem were talking about when you use the um, AI tool in Turkish, then the tokens are consumed twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was very interesting because it was a conversation from local problem solver, and they are in tech, but maybe they are not like very good in English, and they use it in Turkish. So there can be a company building a much more efficient AI solving the problem in the local language, and it can be also in different languages. And
That's actually very interesting. I never thought about that. There's like local use cases for LLMs and chatbots because I think that they've been trained on primarily English data.
yeah,
So training a model specifically on like a local language could be quite interesting.
so it's just like more workload for the AI to understand, translate, take it, and and then also there can be right now a lot of solutions developed for specific industries, and then you have all these like data sets for that industry, and which is already giving a competitive advantage. And not every data, every information is also publicly available. These mass engines are crawling like Google does. They are accessing, but there are a lot of like academic research. There are a lot of like information which are not publicly available. And there will be platforms, and there are platforms which are using these like data sets, or they are building their own data sets. And like I have a friend who is a professor in physics. He's now training a AI company to build like scientific research. He's a professor, a PhD, and now he's the person who can train this AI platform, and which will be, of course, ChatGPT cannot compete with this company about physics. So there will be cases like that.
And they cannot compete because they have their own unique data set that is closed off from public.
Yeah, that's like a basic example. Yeah, because the AI need to have the capability to answer your question, and if you have a very very high end, like question, and they cannot answer that, then you need to have the data set. So the AI is as good as its data to answer your question. That's the thing.
What is your LLM of choice?
Right now, like many people, Claude, and
Everyone who I talk to from the entrepreneurs, enterprise, everybody says Claude.
yeah.
Yeah.
But also for like basic daily stuff, I also like the new visual capability of ChatGPT. I think they made a big breakthrough. So for like quick fixes, quick social content and stuff like that, they because they were not very good in it. Now you can do stuff implemented with ChatGPT cheaper with codecs, and also Gemini is really good integrated. We are like using Google Workspace for everything in our like company, so we also use that. But like personal preference, Cloud.
Yeah. Same. I use Claude for work. I love the connectors. That's another example of being specific and niche down about who you're serving. They're not serving everybody, but they're specifically focusing on, enterprise, which I think is
Yeah.
great. They have the connectors, they have this and that. So I've been using Claude and I love it. I just created a sponsorship deck, like I told you, just put in the brand guidelines, the reference, the data, and a couple of minutes later, it gives me the presentation. It's magic. It really is like magic. And it's so funny how, 4 or 5 years ago, this technology came around and everybody thought it was like magic that you can just like type in and it gives you this
Yeah.
answer. And now we take it for granted. It's like, yeah, chatbots, whatever, LLMs. It's like, bro, it's like this technology is crazy. Computers have not been around for so long. So let's round up by asking, what do you think is the most common mistake companies make when producing content for AI visibility right now? Is that a good question? I don't even know. Let's see. Is there something that you would like to talk about? Something that I haven't asked? It's something that's on your mind?
We also created a piece about voice search recently, and I also hear more and more people who are just developing with like voice commands using AI. That's crazy. I'm like, I like typing. I like, like using a keyboard. But I also started more and more like voice command. And I think there will be, the term ubiquitous computing. So as the hardware and the devices around us give us interaction capabilities, AI will be implemented into also like daily stuff, like I can use the smart speaker at home and for multiple things. And there will be also more and more integration around us. Then it will be more like voice use in AI. And of course, a lot now, mobile devices, the first one. And more like creating something more focused. I use the laptop and the desktop apps.
I remember I was a kid and I had a phone. Remember how you used to type where you had the button and it had like 4 characters and you had to press that
Yeah.
button whatever the amount of times to get to that letter? I hated that. And I remember specifically as a kid thinking, how amazing would it be if I could just talk to my device? And back then it was like, it seemed like a super distant future, right? And I was like, how amazing would it be if I could just talk to my device, my computer or my phone, and it would just magically like type that in, or I could send a voice note, like just press, hello, how are you, da 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 da, and then bloop, and then the person would hear me. Because the problem with like texting is that, it transforms the information, but a lot of the human communication ties into the tone, to the how you use your voice, like what are you trying to say? Because you can say the same thing, but you can say it with different intonations and it's going to have completely different meanings. That's why we also have emojis, because emojis help us to kind of explain like what we mean and how we, because there's so much nuance to language as well. One company and one app that I really like, we're not sponsored by them. I say this every episode. Please sponsor us. Whisperflow, I think, is a company backed up by Stephen Bartlett. I use it day to day. It is great. I think they're valued at something like $700 million. And I was just yesterday watching a behind the scenes of their company, like in their office. They all have a little microphone that they're whispering into, and that's how they're interacting with the computer. And to me, that's great. You can just use Whisperflow. They have a very intelligent system that kind of removes the mistakes that you're making and all of this. And yeah, I really like that. So if you don't like
I have
typing,
it in my WhatsApp.
yeah, it's great, right? You just press a button, swipe to the left, so it comes back to the app, and then you just and then you send it over. It's amazing. Well, Vadi, thank you very much for the conversation. If our dear listeners or viewers would like to connect with you, what is the best place for them to do so?
They can connect with me on LinkedIn. So just type my name, Vadi Efe, and that's the way to go. Or they can email me. I have my website, vadiefe.com, or just contact from Busylike.
Awesome. We're going to leave the links to all of that down in the description of the show. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.